For 3 weeks, we have seen protesters take to the streets of Chattanooga nightly, speaking out against racial injustice. It's a movement bigger than any one person, but among the crowd is one woman who is often the voice protesters hear as they march through downtown. Tonight, she sits down with reporter Michelle Herron and producer Carrie French.
Power belongs to the people.
You've probably seen her.
Sounds like to me that they don't really want to hear the voice of the people.
Or heard her voice. Her name is Mott.
Well, I come from a very tight-knit community that had a lot of elders, that had a lot of families.
The 32-year-old grew up in East Chattanooga. She comes from a family made up of military members, faith leaders, and even law enforcement. Her grandparents lived through segregation.
Community activism was something that we did through the church growing up, so doing it as an adult, it's not like anything new, it's just getting back to my roots.
She works as a freelance graphic designer. Most people know Mott for her voice.
Come on in here, family.
Everybody, even the people who probably don't like me or don't agree with me, you're still family. We're part of a human family.
She says it all started when video surfaced of a teenager being pulled out of a vehicle by Chattanooga police in 2018.
So I didn't really seek to be an activist. I just spoke up about something that was happening right where we are that is a symptom of things happening nationally.
And then George Floyd's death.
I was just surprised, but at the same time, I was encouraged because I'm like, yes. It's not just me and a handful of my comrades. It's not just a little bit of us, but there are a lot of people who are not happy with what's going on.
Take me with you. That's all we want. We want to be respected.
Amid the protests, a moment came many felt was a turning point when Captain Jerry Sutton took a knee with demonstrators.
I appreciate the gesture, but gestures don't change how people are impacted by police.
Do you think they're willing to listen?
I think they've been listening for a long time. I think they're not willing to move beyond listening.
In response to the protests, Chattanooga Police Chief David Roddy announced changes to department policy, now requiring officers to intervene if a fellow officer breaks the law. But Mott believes more can be done, like utilizing social services when responding to mental health calls.
Police officers cannot be trained to be behavioral specialists or therapists.
On Monday, Mayor Andy Burke announced the creation of the Office of Community Resilience, utilizing existing programs and $150,000 from the police department's budget. Mott says it's not enough. She would like to see leaders mirror changes made last year in Dallas, Texas.
They have had, in just a year, tremendous benefits on lowering the amount of recidivism, the amount of people that get admitted into the hospital with behavioral episodes, just by having people who are actual city employees that respond to these calls.
Mott says she will continue trying to convince council members until next week's final vote.
Chattanooga, if we're going to be a progressive city as we claim to be, we got to do more than take a step.
With hundreds turning out night after night calling for change, Mott and other activists had to figure out how and where to channel that energy.
People are coming alive in this process and beginning to find their own voice.
They've helped people register to vote, complete the census, speak at city council meetings, and review the city's budget, encouraging younger generations to get involved civically.
I'm so hopeful for the future, and I hope people are inspired. If we focus more on what we can agree on than what we don't, we can get so much done.
Michelle Herron with that report. Mott says she plans to run for city council next spring. She'll face incumbent Anthony Byrd in District 8. You'll hear from Byrd tomorrow on Eyewitness News at 6. He and other community leaders say Mott's style of protest, which has included expletives directed at police, is counterproductive. We'll take a look at how they're choosing to protest tomorrow on Channel 3.